Well, in this video's Moron Reviews is undeniable. The good one and then the not so good one. This one is by Douglas Adams, How Biology Confirms Our Intuition That Life is Designed. This undeniable Evolution and the Science of Creation by Bill Nye. You know, the only danger of course, giving Christian videos or books not the greatest, or creationists is not the greatest ratings, is the fact that they sometimes will give you a false DMCI, or they'll sue. Or just so you know, I have absolutely no money. I mean, okay, let's look at my place real quick. Let's just take a quick look at my apartment just so you see I'm poor as hell. So if you want to sue, just remember you're not going to get anything. So good luck on that. But, you know, and of course there's lawsuits, you know, I could sue them for giving a false DMCI or false flagging and stuff. But anyways, this one by Bill Nye is a good, very good book. First off, I've had someone leave a comment on one of my videos. You know, not really bad, nasty comment. But basically, he said, you know, why do people take Bill Nye seriously? He's not a real scientist. That's what this guy said. It was on the one about Noah's Ark. Now, you can look him up and find out his background. He has an engineering degree. He worked at Boeing. He took cosmology under Carl Sagan. I say he's qualified as a scientist. He may not. You could argue, you know, he's not a biologist. Yeah, I give you that. But he has enough knowledge of science that he can understand biology. And obviously, I'm sure he's wise and learned and read a lot of things on biology. I have a degree in molecular biology myself. You know, it's a very well written book. Both of these books are well written. I'll give them both that. They're well written. They both passionately believe what they say. And I've never actually given all of these creationist books bad reviews. I wouldn't. I have plenty of creationist books, and I would say each and every one of them are actually decent or good. This one here is just, in my opinion, just was not. Douglas Adams has a PhD in molecular biology. He apparently has done some research. He's obviously very intelligent. Here's the problem. Science does not work on intuition. He tells you how well children believe intuitively that the world is designed, that life is designed, everything around them is designed. Well, people intuitively believe that the common cold is caused by the weather. Is it caused by the weather? No. There are a lot of things people believe by intuition that are not true. If we go by intuition, we will have science. Science is not based on intuition. It's not based on people's beliefs. In his book, he'll give you what may seem convincing if you're a creationist already. But if you're not, and you have science background and everything, you know, he'll give you all these, how impossible it is for life to evolve because, you know, we did this, and protein folding, how impossible this is, and that, like that. You know, it's basically smoke and mirrors. It doesn't tell you, you know, the first proteins, how they actually would have evolved. I can't really get into the explanation in this video. It would be too complicated. But, you know, when you would need, of course, biochemistry, cell biology, and genetics to understand these things. It's not that difficult for any of you guys to learn. I mean, all you guys can learn this stuff. You can look it up on videos, a lot of videos on protein evolution and folding and all this. A lot of good journals. I would say read science journals. Actual peer-reviewed science journals is your best bet. At least Bill Nye, I'm sure, reads science journals. I respect both guys. I respect them both. It's just this, I hate to say this, is my least favorite creationist book I've ever read. It was hard to get through it. I had a struggle reading this. I was glad when I finished it. Never could say that by any other those creationist books that I've read. And they were more convincing than this one. And they're not even written by an actual scientist. That's what's so funny. Undeniable in this book, it gives you, you know, some good points. I recommend you read both of them. Actually, I do recommend reading both of them. You should always learn as much as you can about your own beliefs. And of course, science is not a belief. But, you know, your own beliefs and your own ideology. You should also learn things that contradict what you believe. Now, of course, science, this stuff is based on actual research, peer-reviewed research that can be demonstrated. That's what science is you can demonstrate it, sorry. Undeniable, I mean, creationists can't really demonstrate. It's like listen to a social justice warrior, you know. They'll tell you, you know, about institutional racism, and they'll tell you about other nonsense like the police are unfairly targeting African Americans, minorities. They'll tell you nonsense about, you know, the patriarchy, but they can't prove it. They cannot give you any actual evidence. It's the same thing with creationists. They can't give you any evidence. In science, of course, we can provide evidence. Evolution is the best model we have at this point in time of how life develops and evolves. Evolution is the best that we have now. Based on the evidence that we have, life evolves. And let's say, for argument's sake, tomorrow, all the evolutionary scientists, Richard Dawkins and all these others, come out and say, "Oh, guess what? We've just found out that evolution is completely false. We were completely wrong with it. We have to throw that model out." Does that prove that God exists? No. It just proved that evolution happened to be wrong. I'll give you this as extra, you know. Like I got these tapes from Sword of the Lord, Creation, Evolution number 1, number 2, number 3 by Dr. Shelton Smith. Sword of the Lord, you can go to swordoflord.org. They got a lot of good stuff if you want to read. And, you know, it gives you a lot of weak arguments against evolution. A lot of weak arguments. And I think it's the third one he mentions an argument again. I don't remember the two people. But it's at, of course, a Christian college. Now, when you argue with a creationist at a Christian college, they're not going to moderate the debate very well. What they love to do, and he'll mention the name of the debate. Of course, he'll kind of not exactly give you, he's not going to be honest about the outcome and everything, you know. Basically, the guy after the debate says, well, they could have just given me the money because it was pointless, you know. Basically, he acts like the scientist lost the debate. Well, here's the problem. What they like to do is ask you 100 questions, and of course you have a limited amount of time to answer them. If you cannot even answer one, they will assume you lost the debate. And of course, you read Richard Dawkins' books, he'll give you the explanation a lot better than I can. Same with Moron. But all his other arguments against evolution don't make sense. It's amazing how a preacher now with no real science background thinks they know more than a scientist. These people actually think they know more than a scientist. At least this guy is a real scientist. He doesn't follow science. I mean, the fact that he uses intuition shows that. But I have more respect for him than I would for him. I actually have heard him preach when I used to be a Christian. Heard all of his stuff. And these are good CDs. If any of you guys are good at, you know, debunking these things, you know. Because, you know, you got certain channels like the Bible Skeptic. You got the Bible Reloaded, Armored Skeptic, Logic, and many others. They're much, much better at debunking these things. They can play the the CD, and debunk it point by point. I cannot do it because I suck at these things. You probably see some other videos on YouTube. You see how they suck. But Bill Nye, you know, I wouldn't consider him a hero. But, you know, he did a pretty good job against Ken Ham. And the reason why I do respect him more than I would someone Ken Ham, because like a scientist, he was asked, you know, what would make you not support evolution? You know, what would change your mind on evolution? And his statement was finding a rabbit in the, you know, Precambrian. And Ken Ham was asked, and made it pretty clear, nothing would change his mind. I remember some people were knocking Aaron Ra because they asked him, if you see Jesus Christ right now, would you, you know, get saved? Would you repent? He said no. He would assume that he's having a mental disorder. some sort of, delusion. And people knock them for that. But let's face it now. How many people claim to see Jesus Christ or be Jesus Christ? And they're not. Or they haven't seen him. They're just either making it up or they're having a mental episode. Wouldn't you rather for a person admit that, hey, maybe there's something wrong with me and get psychological help? Oh, that's going to be the end of this video. Feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to watch any of my other videos. Feel free to, if you're a theist or creationist, go give it a thumbs down. Thanks.